Hi, this is Dana, and I will be talking in this video about the times when God is silent. This is, I don't know, I mean, my instinct is to say this is very important topic, but then I have a hesitation because maybe it's not as important to everyone as it was for me. I'm just going to talk from my personal experience as always. For me, this was very important lesson to learn. Um, what happens is that God essentially comes in and trains you through each stage of the fight. And there are many stages through which we have to pass in order to become an experienced spiritual fighter. And one of the stages is, of course, to teach you how to fight attacks, to teach you how to distinguish, but also to teach you to have discernment, how to react, because some attacks you should at specific times you should confront, and in other situations you should learn to sit, be still in silence. So God will take you through all of it and will teach you each and every type of attack, each and every type of response. He will also give you explanations if you ask why and how and for what reason, so you will understand, so you can adjust in future confrontations. There are certain rules of astral, and for example, there are surprise attacks done by darkness, which means that you're completely isolated and covered in darkness. Um, and in such circumstances, basically, you go through a test, and God will allow for you to pass the test. This is very this is very complicated when you go through it. For me, it was a very difficult stage to learn. When one of these attacks started, um, God said to me, everything was darkness, and at some point, I could already see the forces and the people attacking, and I could sense the energy that was totally different than I experienced before, and that everything was closing into a bubble. So I could only see God for a few seconds, and He only said to me, "You will now teach them a lesson." And then He completely disappeared. Um, well, what I can tell you now, after I've been through many of these moments, is that this is a test. Usually, when it happens, this is a gesture of complete trust from God. It shows that God knows that you learned what you had to learn, and that now you have to prove yourself. Now you have to prove yourself to those who attack you. You have to prove yourself to yourself. Um, and that means that you have to gain authority in face of the attackers and the forces working through the attackers. And authority is different than power. God will stay next to you until you reach the level of power that you need to defeat them. But you have to gain authority on your own, fighting with them, confronting them, defeating them. And if you don't pass the test, then God will repeat that test with you until you learn to do it, and then you pass that test. When you gain authority, now I can speak from experience. Your confrontations with those forces will be much swifter, will be um, in totally different terms of reference. You will be able to cast out the forces used by attackers instantly. It won't take as long as it used to, simply because you gained authority, so that that force already fears you. And here we're not talking about the humans. We're talking about the dark forces used by humans to attack you. So essentially, when you gain authority, that force which has been used against you already fears you. So you can cast it out easily. But of course, you have to gain the ability to do that. And for this reason, you go through many lessons with God, many confrontations, and so on. Another reason why God allows this is so you gain self confidence. and the experience. As I said, this is an ability which you have to master. So you have to go through this in order to be able to do it. But you also have to gain self-confidence. Self-confidence, experience, and authority. These are the main reasons why God will be staying silent during attacks. For me, it was tough because, as I explained already, my whole life I did mystic prayer and dialogue with divine, with God, but also with Jesus and other saints. And my spiritual fighting started, constant spiritual fighting started during very dramatic attacks. And I had God's guidance and Jesus' guidance next to me. I had no experience with astral. I had no knowledge in astral. um, God explained to me essentially when I asked him why, if he knew that all of this is going to come to me, you spoke to me my whole life, why you didn't tell me about all this? And essentially, God said, because they would have destroyed you if I would have told you and you would have gone to essentially take classes or learn from others, because they would have given you fake knowledge in order to destroy you on purpose. This is why I didn't tell you. And I just waited for the right time. So I will teach you myself, but I also knew you, and I knew that you will start confronting them, and I knew that there's going to need to be a specific level of energy upgrade, so they won't have the power to kill you. So for all these reasons, when God went silent for the first time on me, I really panicked, because it never happened to me in my life that God wouldn't answer, and it was during attacks, and I got really frightened. That didn't impress God very much, because his decision was that he doesn't negotiate any with dark forces. So this is the astral rule. So he's not going to intervene. And essentially, in the end, I was really panicked. Jesus came. Jesus sometimes breaks the astral laws, and comes to comfort me when time is rough and I didn't know how to manage. But bottom line is, you must win these tests and get authority, so you can get out of a type an attack. That's the only way to actually make these attacks stop. Um, this test will be, of course, mostly referring to spiritual warfare, so attacks for you to gain authority, but also it will be about undeserved forgiveness. And this is important to say. God constantly showed me over and over and over and over again about horrible things that they have done to me, against me, behind my back, denigration, slander, all sorts of promiscuous um, scenarios and parallel realities, and horrible things. Absolutely, I was in shock every time when he would show me, and I kept saying, why you keep showing this to me? This is traumatizing me, just seeing them. Why I need to see this much ugliness? I really don't understand. I understand they betrayed me. Now punish them and let's be done with it. Why you torture me like this? And God kept saying, you need to see this, because one day each and every one of them will come at you, and they will try to trick you. So they will open another karmic cycle with you. And you have to go through all of these process to understand how guilty they are. So your subconscious will register all of these, because they will try to program you on the subconscious, to give them undeserved forgiveness, to find excuses for them, or any kind of trick that they could get in order to get away, not to be punished. And if you are tricked like this, then they will open another karmic cycle with you. And essentially, this is extremely important. I learned this, and I saw it with my own eyes, indeed, how they would try to send all sorts of energy programming when karma was after them to get them for harm they done to me. And it was unbelievable. And indeed, I realized that if God wouldn't have forced me to look at all the horrible things that they have done to me and against me, and everything that they have said about me behind my back, everything that they stole, contracts made on me, all sorts of betrayals and so on, probably I wouldn't have been able to uphold that kind of attacks of programming that they were doing at me, in order to trick me, to give them even acceptance, not necessarily always forgiveness, but at least acceptance, or just to make me think that they deserve some sort of excuse. Or so these are important tests. Um, God wants you to break the parallel realities in your life and all the timelines which have been activated. So for this reason, He's preparing you. So this is a school that and training that God is making with everyone. This is why you have to claim justice. So God will come train you and talk to you, because I give examples from my own experience, but I'm sure that there are very personalized, tailored type of situations and attacks. So unless I know who I'm talking about and I read their energy, otherwise it what I'm explaining here might not apply to everyone. But God wants you to break these parallel realities before they become material existence, or even after they become material existence. Because, first of all, they drain you by darkness attack. Even if you stay in light and you decide not to fight and you just uplift your vibration and so on, they drain you. All the slander, denigration, and darkness, that is darkness sent to you by multiple people, and it feeds on you and it's painful. So you basically just lose power constantly. It also because some untruthful declaration keep on going, a vicious circle in your life, blocking you from moving forward, blocking you from taking gifts, taking rights. God will not unravel to you all your gifts and will not activate all your gifts. God will hid your gifts from you, even as long as they have power to attack you, because He doesn't want them to steal from you and to use your gifts against you. um, your goal is to expose and break this cycle so you can evolve, but you can only evolve if you break them, and if you get trained into this spiritual fighting. So sometimes in order to achieve all this, God will go silent, and will allow you to make mistakes, but He will patiently start from the beginning. Like, I'll give you the example from the previous video, where I was talking about this neighbor of mine who, together with some others, stole my identity in order to steal my rights over my work, my spiritual work on Facebook, and now it seems on YouTube as well. Um, Essentially, God told me, as I said, since December 2018, to do YouTube. He constantly showed me they stole your work, and I, as you can see, I only started now videos, so it took me 4 years to do this. So God had patience with me, but as I told you, He's not gonna give you your gift, your rights back until you break that. So He patiently waited for me, and from time to time He would remind me, you have to start YouTube, you have to start YouTube. But I asked him, well, if they stole my work on Facebook, my spiritual work, so what do you want me to do you want me to stop writing? Because God said you will start writing prophetic writings. I will give you the information to write, and this will be your way of living, because you submitted resignation, you don't have an income, so you'll make an income out of this. So I started prophetic writing. I didn't make an income, and God said, you're not going to make an income soon because they stole your rights over this. So I said, do you want me to stop writing? And God was showing me people in extremely bad situation, very difficult attacks, that needed the information that I was putting out there. And I said, God, Father, just please tell me, do you want me to stop or do you want me to keep writing? And He said, people do need you to write. So I said, okay, fine. So then I will write. and then you will give me somehow my money back, the money that they keep stealing, because now we cannot all fall. If I have the information and it can save some other people's lives, um, then I should put it out there. But it didn't cross my mind that if I start YouTube, as he says, then he's gonna be able to reveal to me what they have done and how to break it. So he kept silent. It was a very short, very easy link to make for me. He gave me all the information, you see. He told me they stole my rights on Facebook. He told me I need to start YouTube, but he couldn't tell me if you start YouTube, it will be revealed who and how stole your rights on Facebook and so on, you know. And for some reason, during all this attack and all this craziness, I didn't make that link between the two. And I kept postponing to do it, as I said in the previous video, mostly because of ego. Because I said, you know, I will do YouTube when I have the proper conditions to do something decent. That was my expectation. It didn't cross my mind that God was saying to start YouTube in order for me to break this bondage which they created on Facebook, on my account, on my writings. So he will give you hints, but he will keep silent, and he will let you go your way from time to time. He will give you hints again, but if you don't make the connection, God will wait for you. This is a repetitive mistake that I made, that I kept delaying and postponing to do this. And in my um, ego, I imagined that God at some point will give me the proper conditions. So I will do videos, but it just turns out, I learned just now today, that in fact it was necessary for me to break my ego, start doing the videos the way I can in the conditions that I have right now, so I can break the bondage created already on my work, my spiritual work on Facebook. Um, and only afterwards it will unfold, you know, the justice making and getting the conditions and the technology and all needed for what I called proper videos. Well, so this is an example I'm giving is sometimes God does go silent, but this is only so you can pass a test. He is always there. That's a fact. But he will wait for you until you understand exactly what you need to understand, either from experience or, like in this case, when you're willing to let go of your ego and just listen to guidance and do what he requests you to do. um, and then he's going to be able to show you, because usually what he doesn't show you, it means that one is password encoded information for you. So even if God tells you, you're not able to hear it. It's just blocked. It's blocked information. You cannot see it, basically. um, it doesn't matter how much guidance you receive. It's a password encoded, and you cannot see that information. I hope this gives some kind of explanation. God will stay silent unless you start talking to Him as well. You need to claim justice, judgment, and punishment in order to get God to come to you and to start Him to train you, um, um, and have and give you guidance on how to train to go through fights and through bondage breaking, which is in itself a fight, a spiritual fight. Thank you for your attention, and please like, um, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Um, and I guess this is all I have for now. Thanks.